This video is sponsored by Hungry Roots. Hello everyone, welcome back to Royalty Soaps. Do you remember this video where I recreated these viral glycerin soaps? Well, you guys really loved that video and I just got in the perfect fragrance collection for doing another round. The fragrance collection is called Wildwood Retreat. It was gifted to me by Brambleberry and let me just tell you, the vibes for fall are perfect. It's a collection of extremely earthy fragrances. My personal favorite is Hickory and Suede, but all of these scents were actually really inspiring to me, so I ended up designing 4 different glycerin soap batches for us to make today. If you're hoping to get into soap making for the holiday season, maybe you're hoping to give homemade soap as gifts and you don't want to jump straight into cold process, I always recommend working with melt and pour first. It's so much easier, and today I am going to be sharing all of the amounts of everything I'm using. And if you're just trying to get sort of a feel for what you would like to do personally, I hope this acts as inspiration. So what are you going to need to make your own viral soap? Well, let's talk about our equipment first. You will need the viral soap mold. Now, there are a variety of places you can get this. The cheapest place that I found was naturesgarden.com. You can also find it on Etsy. I will leave you guys links to this down below, along with links to everything I mentioned in this video. You're also going to need a pitcher that can hold up to 55 ounces. I like these. They are from Dollar Tree. They are $1.50 a piece and they hold up to 60 ounces of soap. It's the absolute perfect size and it's super budget friendly. You are going to need a digital scale. This is the one that I recommend from Amazon. They have one of the least expensive scales. You could also go with something from Brambleberry or Misc. These are less budget friendly, but will definitely last you longer. The KD 7000 scale is the one that you guys see me use in all of my videos. It's my favorite scale. I have been using it for 10 plus years and I continue to buy them. I love how well they work. You're also going to need something to mix up your melt and pour soap. You can get these from the dollar store. You're also going to need something to measure out your fragrance oil into. I suggest a small glass jar. If this is something that you can recycle from pasta sauce, jams, or jellies, use one of those. If you'd like to get a professional beaker, you can, but it's totally not necessary. Recycle, reuse. Obviously, I'm going to be sharing with you both the fragrances and the colors that I'm using in this video, but think about what you want to accomplish and you can sub out those fragrances or the colors for whatever project inspiration you're working with. If you get the fragrances from Brambleberry and a variety of other suppliers, they will have fragrance oil calculators online so that you know how much fragrance oil you need to be adding to your 55 ounces of soap base. These suppliers make it really easy for us to craft safely. There are a few little bits and bobs that I probably haven't mentioned in this intro because it has gotten long enough, but don't worry, again, I'll leave it all in the description box for you so that you can shop with ease and have everything you need for your project before you begin. And if you're just here for the vibes, awesome. Okay, let us get out our first batch of melt and pour. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to microwave your soap base for about 30 seconds at a time after cutting the soap base into little bitty squares. 1 inch by 1 inch is fine. It's gonna take 2 to 3 minutes to melt everything in the microwave. I have everything off on the side in a melter, but melt it in the microwave in your little white pitcher, you'll be good to go. Okay, I have 55 ounces of my melt and pour soap base in this Dollar Tree container. It is equal parts triple butter soap and goat milk soap. Oh yes, another thing you're gonna need, some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. This is gonna help us spritz all those air bubbles on the top so that they magically disappear. And for this first soap, which is the easiest soap, we're gonna be doing the Hickory and Suede. Here's a screenshot of the Brambleberry fragrance oil calculator, and as you can see here, because I would like a strong scent, I can use up to 1.65 ounces. So I have placed my glass container here on the scale. I'm going to tear it out so it says 0, and then I'm going to pour in 1.65 ounces of fragrance. You can use grams for even more precise measuring. I waited until my melt and pour soap was at around 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I added in the fragrance oil. I then added in some of this coconut shell powder and some copper copper sparkle mica. It's super, super pretty. Mixed all of the additives for about a minute to 2 minutes just to make sure everything is fully incorporated. Then I poured it into my mold. Okay, let us pour in most of our melt and pour here. Like I said, I'm gonna save a little bit for the top to help us glue, if you will, our embeds. Then I'm gonna spritz the top, get rid of all those air bubbles, and we're gonna let this set up until the top is firm, but still pliable. I let this soap set up for an hour, and then with really warm soap, but not too hot, you're talking about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, I poured the rest onto the top after spritzing very liberally with rubbing alcohol. Then quickly, and I mean very quickly, I had to get those stones in. Because melt and pour very quickly starts to form a skin on top, it will look very wrinkly if you don't get them in fast enough. And I am not perfect with my embed placement, you guys. I don't make this soap very often, so I was a little bit hesitant with the stone placement, and you can see the wrinkles on the top starting to happen. This isn't a really, really big deal. It's just something I can avoid and you can avoid if we move quicker. After all the stone placement is done, then I can spritz the top one more time with rubbing alcohol, wait an hour. Our first batch is now fully set up, so I can go ahead and cut it. And while yes, you can just use like a regular old knife to cut your soap, I personally recommend investing in a wavy bar cutter. That is going to give you the TikTok look of having all the little wavy ends. I'll show you how to do it. Soap is set up, stones are in, it looks so good. So now we can pull the sides of the mold to release our soap, peel it right out of the mold, place it on our cutting board, and the first thing you have to do is make the long cuts. This part I am going to do with a knife. Actually, I'm going to measure first. I'm going to make some marks at 3.3 inches. That way we know the lines are straight and the bars should be the right size. It's a little bit squishy still, but no big deal. And as these are hand cut, they are going to be a slightly different sizes. Nice. Gonna set these two off to the side, turn my board here. Now with my wavy bar cutter, we're gonna chop off the ends. I do have to press down pretty darn hard. Okay, cute. Perfect. So now we have our nice little wavy bars. I have a cute little stone on top that can be removed before use so that the recipient not only gets the bar soap, but they also get the cool gemstone. Go to the next one here, chop the ends. Don't overthink this part. The more you overthink the chopping, the worse I find out it ends up being. Remember, these are handmade with love. They don't have to be 100% perfect and exactly the same size. And look, right in the middle, just from eyeballing, it's almost exactly the same size. But if you want it to be even more close to perfect, all you have to do, put your ruler down, split the difference. I have 5 inches here, so 2.5, make a mark, and then cut along that mark. No big deal. And our first 12 bars are ready to go. And we have some soap scraps that we can either donate to Eco Soap Bank or we can put in a soap saver bag like the one I have at royaltysoaps.com. It's made out of renewable and sustainable resources. You put your little soap ends or soap bits in there and then you can scrub up with it like a loofah. Let's check the weight. Make sure that all of these weigh at least 4 ounces. As you can see, these are some pretty big bars. Everyone is at least 4 ounces. There are some that are a little bit bigger than others, some that are a little bit smaller, but everything over 4 ounces is bonus. Every single bar.
Katie, that's great, but what if I want to do 2 different colors in layers? I don't want to just do one color.
Don't worry, I'll show you how to do that too. That's what we'll do with this second soap, Cypress and Cashmere. And now a quick word from today's sponsor, Hungry Root. Now let me tell you something. As a busy business owner, as a mom of 2 who homeschools, I may add, and as a family with numerous health goals, I can tell you shopping for groceries can be a pain. Hungry Root is like a personal shopper and nutritionist all wrapped into one. Basically, they take care of the weekly meal planning and grocery shopping by recommending healthy recipes recipes and groceries tailored to whatever your health needs are. Most of this year, I have been on a very, very high protein diet. This requires a very specific type of approach to meal planning. I also try to include a lot of gut-friendly foods into my children's meals every day. That includes anything that's been fermented, sourdough, things like that. And with Hungry Root, shopping, planning, and cooking food really can be simple and stress-free. You just tell them about your personal goals and preferences, and they'll fill your cart with personalized recommendations. They get smarter as they learn more about what you liked or didn't love. And here's another thing. All of Hungry Root's recipes can be made in 15 minutes or less. Because I am the type of girl, I will just be so honest, who will wait to the very last second to pick what I make. And whenever I have Hungry Root in the fridge, it doesn't matter. Most recipes can be made in 15 minutes or less, and there's over 40,000 recipes, so there's literally something for everyone. Also, just so you know, there is no high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, or preservatives in any of Hungry Root's ingredients or meals. So if you are struggling to find recipes for specific dietary needs, struggling to stay on a meal plan, honestly just struggling with the stress of weekly shopping, I promise you, Hungry Root will help you out. They have helped me out so much this year. For a limited time, you can get 40% off your first box plus one free item in every box for life by clicking the link below or going to hungryroot.com and using the code ROYALTYSOAPS. That's 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life at hungryroot.com with code ROYALTYSOAPS. Thank you so much to Hungry Root for sponsoring today's video. You guys are a lifesaver. Seriously, like one of my absolute favorite sponsors of 2025. You guys are the best. And let's get back to making some trendy soap. Okay, all chopped up in our pitcher is 27.5 ounces of clear melt and pour soap. To this, I will add some hunter green colorant, but we're gonna wait until this is all melted down first. Gonna stick this in the microwave for 2 minutes to start, and then in 30-second increments until all of the cubes are completely melted. Okay, with our melt and pour completely ready, let's take its temperature, around 154 degrees Fahrenheit. So while our melt and pour cools down to around the 140 degree area, I am going to measure out the fragrance. We're going to go for 0.8, and then into my fragrance, I'm going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of our hunter green. Because I'm working with a powdered mica colorant, mixing it beforehand in your fragrance helps keep little clumps or unincorporated mica minimal in your final product. Now I'm going to blend this in by hand. What a beautiful forest green. All right, just going to pour into our mold. Super shiny, so pretty, and still a bit translucent, just how I wanted it. If I wanted it to be a little bit more opaque, I could have added some more mica, but I was really just going for a sort of tint for this look. Scrape out every little bitty bit, spritz the top with rubbing alcohol, and then wait an hour or so until the next portion. It has been an hour, and while the soap is still a tiddly bit squishy, it is definitely firm enough for us to pour the next layer. So I'm going to spritz the top very, very liberally with rubbing alcohol. You should see, it should almost look like an oil slick. You should definitely see certain parts that have a lot on there. And now I'm going to pour my second layer. So this is 27.5 ounces of our white melt and pour soap. I have cooled it down to about 130. I added my 0.8 ounces of fragrance, stirred it in well. I didn't add any special glitter or mica to this layer. Now I'm going to take some of that sage green and gently put it on the top using a makeup brush, just for pretty. And then we're going to add in some embeds on top. These two trees are gonna be a little bit close. That's okay. We're gonna spritz that again with rubbing alcohol, let it sit. Now, I know these don't look like they're attached very well, but what happens is the heat from this underneath white melt and pour layer will actually melt a little bit of that embed, therefore sticking it in really good. So it's not gonna pop off. You can already see if I just tap it gently, it's glued on there. I can't wiggle it from side to side. Okay, let's let it sit an hour and we'll come back and chop it up and you can see the layers. All right, it has sat for an hour, so we can go ahead and unmold the slab. Look how pretty that looks on the side. You have the dark green on the bottom that ends up matching the trees on top. And look, all of them stuck except one. And if this happens to you, it's not a big deal. I'll show you what you can do to fix it. So yes, we will cut this in a second, but this is a great teaching opportunity. Okay, I'm gonna take a heat gun. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can use a hair dryer, anything that'll make a little bit of heat. I'm gonna heat this soap top up just a little bit and pop this guy right back on. Okay, when you get a little bit of wrinkle, that's what you want. It'll be completely set up in a minute or so. All right, let me make those marks again. Awesome. Perfect. Just press down gently. Chop off those edges. So cute. Please look how cute this is. I absolutely love them and they smell so good. And now you can see what it looks like to do two different colors with your soap. Cut the rest of these up. That is so adorable. I would absolutely love to get this as a Christmas present. So this is what a layered soap can look like with melt and pour. It's really, really effective. Just going to take these now and put them in an airtight container until we can wrap them. I have 40 ounces of our melt and pour soap base. Now I know I said 55, but I'm doing 2 layers for this soap. And the proper amount of fragrance oil is 1.2 ounces. So I'm gonna put this on the scale. Again, if you're more comfortable, this is your first time, I recommend using a glass cup to measure out your fragrance first. But safe to say, I've measured out fragrance oil a couple of times, so I feel pretty confident in my ability to pour the right amount. All right, just gonna pour in 1.2. There we go, 1.2. Then I'm going to add in half a teaspoon of Sky Blue mica from Misc. This is what it looks like. Super pretty. All right, let's blend this up. Just gonna mix a little bit on the top first to kind of get that mica dispersed into my fragrance oil. Makes it a lot easier to incorporate into the soap batter. And wow, this fragrance, incredible. It really, really blooms once it's in an application. It smells nice out of the container, don't get me wrong, but it smells really good once it's in something. I like that, but I'm gonna add a bit more, add another half a teaspoon of color just to darken that up. Sometimes what I do is I mix it all up, and then if there's little air bubbles or amounts of fragrance that haven't been blended, I'll spritz the top like this. That kind of breaks them up. Then I can blend again, and then I can spritz again until they're all gone. Also, one more time, if you want to avoid having to blend this long, all you have to do is mix your color into your fragrance oil. This will work if you have a mica, a high quality mica. No need if you're using a liquid soap colorant. All right, one more time, let's let that sit. Let me see if anything comes to the top. A few little ones here and there. Okay, that looks stunning. Little bit of shimmer in our melt and pour too, which is fun. Okay, now that I have this ready to go, I set my spatula down in here. Let's go ahead and pour into our mold. And then we're gonna let this sit for a full 30 minutes to an hour. You really wanna let this layer settle in and set up before you pour the next one, especially if you're using embeds on top. Nice, all right, everything's in there. We'll spritz the top. I'm gonna set a 30-minute timer. I'm gonna come back and check how set up the batch is and see if it needs a little bit more time. If you wanna be on the safe side, let it set up an hour. Now that our blue base has set up, we can add the rest of the soap. I have now melted down 15 ounces. And to this, we are going to add 0.4 ounces of fragrance. Blend that up. I'm actually going to do 2 different colors for this layer. All right, everything looks good. So I'm going to split this into 2 different containers. Technically, I could weigh these out. They would be 7.5 ounces. I'm just going to eyeball them because now that the fragrance is in, the only thing we're adding is color and it really doesn't matter. And then to one of these containers, I'm adding 1/4 of a teaspoon of gunmetal mica. This is from Misc. Very dark gray. Okay, we have both colors ready to go. And how hot are we pouring this final layer? Well, a little bit cooler. It is about 120 degrees, which for this melt and pour is making it so that it's leaving a skin on top pretty quick. It's warm, but it's not hot. And that's what we want for the design I'm about to do. First step now is to give a very, very liberal spritzing of rubbing alcohol. We want the whole top to be very wet and shiny. Then I am going to sort of give this a good shake just to break up the melt and pour on top. And I'm going to start by pouring stripes. They don't have to be perfect. Super pretty. And why stripes? Well, kind of to symbolize a birch tree. My gray got a bit thick on me, so I had to go heat it up in the microwave. That's okay though, because this has had some time to set up. It's gonna make that gray add a little bit of texture to the soap, which is gonna look really cool on top. I do have a little bit of white left, and on these bigger areas of gray, that's what I'm gonna pour the white on. Nice, okay, let's take that little bit of white. Gonna pour it into these areas. Yes. Gonna spritz the top. Cool. And now we're gonna let that set for at least 30 minutes or so. Really love that look. Alrighty, we have let the soap set up. So now I'm gonna pop it out of the mold just like so. And now for the tricky part, you just gotta go with it, you know, they don't have to be perfect. All right, now we're gonna chop these in half. Nice. And look at that cool pattern on the side. Love the way that looks. And there you go. Those are really cute. I mean, I can't deny the wavy look really helps a lot. With the first 3 glycerin soaps done, I decided to save the 4th one and let you guys vote on what I should do with it. Should I make a frosted top mini soap loaf, or should I make another batch of the viral TikTok glycerin soap? You guys can vote on that question today over on Instagram, and then I will make some short form content of the final batch. I hope you guys really loved seeing these 3 different recipes today. One with some swirls on top, one with all of everything mixed in, and then one with 2 even layers. Like I said before, it's so easy for you guys to do. And using tools like the Brambleberry fragrance calculator and a wavy bar cutter to make unique edges really just bring the project to the next level. Now, how do you package them? Well, you have a couple of options. In the first video, I kind of showed you how I personally like to package them with a 4x6 shrink bag. But if you're not looking to make an investment like that up front, you're just wanting to make a quick holiday gift, you can always use plastic wrap and then put a little handwritten label on the back of the bar. I hope you guys have an absolutely royal day. Be sure to check out the recipes in the description box down below if you would like to make your own. And thank you to Brambleberry for sending me these lovely colors and fragrance collection. They are perfect for fall. Be sure you guys do something fun for yourself today, whether it is going over to hang out with your siblings on this lovely cozy autumnal day, or maybe trying out a new craft. You guys know I don't really care what you do. Just do something for you, and I will see y'all in the next video. So until then, bye for now. Meow.